Parents arrived late to my son's graduation, criticized everyone around them, and tried to derail his college plans with paranoia and judgment. My son's high school graduation was earlier this week. I had invited my parents, both late 70s, at the beginning of the year. They kept seesawing on coming or not coming. They eventually agreed to come like 3 weeks before graduation, which okay, cool. They had to drive in from out of state, day of, schedule was pretty clear to them. Ceremony starts at X, doors open an hour beforehand. Be there 15 minutes before that because that is when parking opens up. Parking is going to fill up quickly because over 250 kids were graduating, and you know some of these kids had about 7 generations of family showing up. I told them to meet me at the parking garage at the 15 minutes before doors open mark. So what do? Leave their hotel, located 25 minutes away, 1 minute before that. Got bitched at for not waiting for them, even though, 15 minutes after the doors opened, it was turning into standing room only. When we realized they weren't going to be here and parked by the time the doors opened, my husband, other kid, and I went to go wait in the line. Which, thank goodness we did because about 5 minutes later, the line was down the street to the next block over. They wanted us to come back out to get them, which was impossible because the sea of people were all pushing one way, not about to battle an entire army of people to get back out, no other way out either. We were lucky to get in when we did, to get the seats we did, because by the time my parents texted they arrived, it was turning into standing room being the only thing left. My mom then spent the entire first part of the ceremony people watching, with a super judgy face on. Kept telling my other kid that the lady with all the piercings and tattoos probably doesn't have a job, going nowhere in life, etc., etc., etc. I shushed her and got the look. Which no longer affects me since I just spent the last 18 years improving the look. Also, for some reason, my son's full middle name didn't get read out, they just said his initial instead. I don't know why or how it got missed, but I nearly missed getting pictures of my son getting his diploma on stage because she was bitching about it. Some pictures turned out blurry because she kept smacking my arm. Luckily my husband got some pictures, but like holy fuck. I would have cried if we didn't get some sort of decent picture. She snapped at my other kid because we did the whole woo when his name was called. Compared to the other people in the arena, I doubt he even heard us cause it was just me and other kid. Husband couldn't because he was trying to line up shots around people walking in front of us and his brain couldn't do 2 things at once lol. One of the kid speakers, class president, maybe? Was talking about evolution and how we got to the point we were at today, and my mom complained about that. They should be thanking God. God got them here. Not even a Christian school, mother. She also complained because some of the young ladies were wearing headscarves, they let them in this school? Like Jesus H. Christ on a cracker, it's a fucking public school, mom. There's still people too, just like you, though probably less of a bitch bag. Also got comments from her about the kids with green hair, blue hair, purple hair, and one girl with clown clothes on. They are going nowhere in life. Like, they just graduated, their life is just starting. Girl with the clown clothes was wearing a bunch of the different graduation cords and had her name in the program with several scholarships listed. Pointedly told my other kid, and this is why we don't judge people based on their looks. They have tried to talk my son out of going to his choice of college. They think it's going to be too far away from me. Once we drop him off, we have to move across the country because military orders, and that it is in a bad part of town. They are trying to paint some picture that my son is going to be stabbed, shot, mugged, and left for dead. City the school is in has some crime, obviously, but the college itself has released their safety reports and haven't had much issues or crime. I used her favorite line when I voice a worry, it's all up to God. I'm not even religious or Christian anymore, managed to get the look again when I said that. They are here for the rest of the weekend. We have another promotion ceremony for other kid this weekend, 8th grade. So, send help? Think dealing with them have given me gray hairs. Update 1. We are currently not on speaking terms. Well, to be more specific, I am not on speaking terms with her, she has been refusing to accept that. The weekend after my post, we had made plans to meet at 10 a.m. They showed up at 8 a.m. Ready to go, with no place to go. They made plans to stay for so long, but made 0 plans to fill that time, thinking I would magically come up with something to do, at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Like, I can't even think straight due to lack of coffee at this hour. I am not a morning person, and have no idea where my bra is, but sure, I'll pull out something to do from my ass. They were just like, let's just do what you normally would do on a weekend. Which? Number 1, it'd be physically impossible for them to do, considering my mother probably needed a walker a decade ago, but refuses to use because it ages her. 2, they have no interest in video games or board games. Already tried getting them to play a board game previously and my mom stuck her nose up at that. And 3, lots to do here, but 95% of the things worth doing is outdoors. My mom cries her head off if it's over 71 degrees outside. It's always I'm melting. It's too hot. I'm melting. Like she is the wicked witch of the Mid-West. Also, my family and I don't really go out every weekend. We like being home, we like being alone. So there I was, scouring the internet for things to do with elderly people who can't walk in our area, and still getting hit with go hike here or there or over there, while wondering if parent daycare was thing. Mom was chatting with my husband when she decided to start talking about her favorite subject, Emma, my stepsister/her stepdaughter. The way she gushes about Emma makes you think Emma shits out gold nuggets and pukes up diamonds, emeralds, and rubies, all while having the cure to cancer in her head. When our parents got married, she kept asking me, why can't you be more like Emma? Like-eyed Mom, maybe because I'm still a teenager while Emma is pushing 30, at the time, naturally Emma was going to be more ahead in life. But from the day they married until now, I was constantly compared to Emma, told to be like Emma, and occasionally called Emma. When I had a mental breakdown in my early 20s and ended up in the psych ward, I was told to get over it or turn to God. But when Emma had a similar situation, it was all she needs, all the help she can get. Emma marries a shit stain of a man who abused her, and my mom is ready to scorch the world. But when I was dating a guy who turned abusive, it was my fault. You get the idea. I have no real issue with Emma. Though, it took me quite a bit in therapy to get to the point where I am no longer resenting her. These days we are mainly FB friends, liking each other's random photos. So she is gushing to my husband about Emma. I'm only half listening until I hear her say, clear as fucking day, Emma is like the daughter I never had. My husband and her husband went deer in headlights shocked. My son, 18, said WTF. Took my daughter, 14, a few seconds longer to process what she heard, but even she caught it. She's not a morning person either. I basically just said, well, guess that's that. You can get the fuck out now. Of course, I was hit with the what did I do? Bit. My son repeated what she said, so she started her gaslighting bullshit. You took it the wrong way. That's not what I meant. Etc. 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 I think with the help of those who commented on my last post, I shined up my backbone a little because I just told her to get the fuck out. My husband says I told her if you don't have a daughter, then why the fuck do I have some crusty old farts in my house? And threatened to throw all her shit out the window. I don't remember saying any of that, but my son backs it up. I don't remember a lot in the few minutes it took to get her tossed out. After she finally left my house, I broke down crying and got sick. I don't do confrontation very well. She keeps trying to call, text, email me. My husband managed to get her blocked on my phone, so at least I don't get bombarded with calls and texts anymore. First day, before I blocked her, I had over 50 missed calls and 40 text messages from her. She also managed to fill up my voicemail, not that I listened to any of it. Husband deleted all of them for me too. She only has my old email account, that I use for spam now, so not really seeing those either. The last I looked, over a week ago, there were around 20 emails just from her. Starting to get a few letters in the snail mail from her too, so oh joy. Guess she told some sob story to Emma too because she reached out to me. Luckily, she listened to my side and just told me, good for you. She also told me she has never been a huge fan of my mom, for reasons like this, but only plays nice and stays civil for her dad's sake. Made me feel a little better knowing that Saint Emma dislikes her too. I was a mess for about a week after everything happened. Still I'm a mess, but less so. My husband and kids have been working hard to distract me and I have been keeping up with my therapy sessions every week. She even got me in for an emergency session the next Monday. Luckily, my summer is about to get busy. Husband is taking a month off, having a garage sale, preparing to move to a new state, getting my son ready for college, so I will have plenty to do to keep my mind off things. I did tell my kids they were allowed to have a relationship with either grandma or grandpa, but they were both like, nah, they made my mom cry. Then they proceeded to kick my ass in Mario Kart. Update 2. Let's start with the letters. First, there were 2 or 3 a week, rambling, guilt-trippy, how could you, cloaked in flowery God's plan and family is everything nonsense. Thank you, Mom, for postmarking these with enough return address labels to wallpaper my kitchen. I left them unopened after a while, but husband, now on the Mom Watch task force, reads them with his morning coffee and gives me the highlights. He says my mother is ping-ponging between rage, martyrdom, I forgive you, and one weird offering of a dinner at Olive Garden if only I come to my senses. Feels more like I'd be the main course. Last week, a certified letter arrived. I thought, half jokingly, has she finally disowned me for real? Am I being served with visitation demands like, I'm harboring state secrets? Nope. It was an honest-to-God contract she wrote herself, outlining her terms for forgiveness. Complete with bullet points. I have to recommit to regularly scheduled phone calls, apologize sincerely for the misunderstanding, and, my favorite, promise that future partners for her grandchildren must be vetted for strong Christian values and normal hair colors. I almost framed it as modern performance art. Instead, we burned it on the grill after toasting s'mores. Seriously cathartic, but if you think that's as weird as it gets, oh friend, buckle up. After Emma's shockingly normal and supportive good for you text, I figured our interaction was done. Fast forward, Emma tells me she's actually coming through our city for work. She asks if we want to meet for an hour, just coffee. I promise I won't mention her. Husband is skeptical, but I'm feeling like maybe I could use a not crazy voice. We meet up. Emma actually brings her partner, who is gloriously tattooed and rocks a bright blue pixie cut, and just, God bless her. I spent half the coffee date marveling at the universe's cosmic trolling of my mother. We talk. She admits she's gone no contact before, but always slides back because of her dad, the guilt, the pressure. I vent. So now, of all things, I've ended up with a text buddy and the woman who was once my family's gold standard. Our kids have started sharing memes. Life is absurd. Remember my daughter's 8th grade promotion? The one my parents weren't going to miss for the world? Well, they missed it. My dad left me an actual voicemail about how a true apology would be you inviting us back. Yeah, no. I would rather chug expired milk, so it was just us, me, husband, son, daughter, nobody glaring at rainbow hair in the back row. And you know what? It was lovely. I almost cried, not for my parents' absence, but because daughter got a perfect attendance award, miracle, and I could enjoy the day. After the ceremony, my son took the best photo of us all laughing, probably at one of daughter's stories about a classmate burping during the national anthem. I'm framing it as the day peace dawns. That Saturday, my distant Aunt Linda calls me, from a number I don't recognize, sneaky lady, and starts with, "Don't mind your mother, honey, you know she never means what she says." I ask what she's talking about, and she launches into a blow-by-blow recitation of my mother's version of the events. Apparently, I threw her onto the street in her nightgown, and threatened to sick my crazy dog on her, we have a cat, while screaming like a banshee. At some point, I'm supposedly abusing prescription pills and living with an atheistic biker gang. Husband, who does own a leather jacket, took this as a compliment. Aunt Linda ended with, "All she needs is a little love." Before I noped out with a fake Zoom notification. Not to be outdone, my former family group chat, the chat that my mom created, that ironically never had me in it until 3 days ago, thank you, Emma, is apparently filled with prayer requests about my soul in crisis. Emma sent me screenshots. My cousin Pam wrote, "We're all praying you see the light, tell her to call grandma before it's too late." Emma wrote, "Maybe grandma should book a flight to Burning Man, meet her halfway." She was immediately ejected from the group. I laughed so hard I snorted coffee. Midway through all this, I get a letter, a real letter, written by my dad. It's shockingly gentle. He apologizes for raising his voice when I kicked my mom out. He admits he tends to let her run the show. He says he would like to have coffee, just the two of us, before we move. I tentatively agree, but only in a public cafe, and with husband at a distance in case I need extraction. I'm not sure what I'll say. Maybe he'll just sit there and order water and not eat. Or maybe, after 70 whatever years, he'll say something real. Emma says he once gave her a pep talk because she was the only real adult he could trust. I told her maybe he just needs someone else to let him be an adult. With husband's month off, we are in full-on packing mayhem. Son, gleefully free of any parental guilt, decided to dye his hair purple before heading to college, to honor the kid in the clown clothes grandma hated. He let daughter do it with TikTok tips and a prayer. I thought it would be a disaster, but honestly, it looks great. Son got his housing assignment, and he'll be rooming with a guy who's a D&D dungeon master and an amateur glassblower. I said, "Please don't set anything on fire," and he promised, he won't, right? We've started the garage sale, basically an elaborate excuse for neighbors to come over and gawk at our chaos. Husband keeps muttering, "We should charge a cover fee." Daughter sold 3 old board games, which apparently makes her a young woman of business acumen according to my father-in-law, who is now her adopted favorite grandparent, since the other ones are on exile. And me? I finally scheduled a day just for myself, pedicure, bakery, wandering Target for an hour, and not buying a single cleaning supply. I texted Emma and got back a shot of her own rainbow pedicure. "Cheers to weird families, and being fine anyway," she wrote. Yesterday, I can't believe I'm typing this, I got an unmarked letter with a $20 bill and a post-it, "Treat yourself, love grandma." No apology, no ask, just that. I'm not sure what to think. For now, I'll buy ice cream, let the kids eat it for dinner, and let this be what healing looks like. Messy, awkward, a work in progress. My therapist says I've started to reparent myself, which sounds like something out of a self-help workbook. But maybe it just means I'm learning to choose peace, even if it means choosing myself first. Husband says I've leveled up. Son says I need to dye my hair purple too. Daughter quotes RuPaul. Update 3. If you would have told me, even 5 weeks ago, that this story would have a midnight drive-in noodle incident, a neighborhood intervention, and the spontaneous appearance of a retirement home's miniature goat therapy troupe, I'd have asked what you were smoking and if you had enough to share. Life, it seems, is still fully committed to keeping me endlessly entertained, or exasperated. Let's kick things off with a certified mail train wreck, because what could be better than receiving 2 more forgiveness contracts from my mother, each increasingly deranged. The second one, and I wish I were joking, came with a color-coded path to family restoration flow chart. I lost it at decision tree, accept Jesus or accept consequences. There's a box that reads, if child expresses intent to repent, proceed to step 6, rebirth through Olive Garden. I am torn between sending it to r/funny or framing it for my therapy room. This is not how I envision my relationship with PowerPoint evolving in adulthood. Husband, who has officially become my fortress against all things motherly, had an almost gleeful look when he intercepted these and started using them as makeshift fire starters in our backyard pit. There is a certain satisfaction to watching a passive-aggressive flow chart curl into embers, I have to admit. Then comes the great graduation scrapbook debacle. A distant cousin, who I did not even know was following my life this closely, sends me a message. Hey, your mom is assembling a family celebration album for all the grandkids. She wants baby pictures and milestone stuff. Apparently, she started a crowdsourcing campaign among extended family to gather photos of my own child, without consulting me. What will this album contain? Bible verses and passive-aggressive captions under my son's green-purple hair? May God help this child find the light? When I mentioned this to my son, he considered photoshopping his head onto a plate of lasagna just to see if anyone noticed. Instead, I sent exactly one picture, cat in a graduation cap. No follow-up since. And then my father. We did meet, at the world's most aggressively normal diner, where the only drama was whether the pie was still fresh. It was awkward. My dad teared up, which is remarkable for a man who's never met an emotion he couldn't bottle up and mislabel as indigestion. For the first time, he apologized, not just for the recent blow-up, but for years of pretending everything was fine if I just kept quiet. He also admitted to deleting 6 voicemails from my mother before I ever heard them. He didn't ask to be let back in, he just wanted to say he missed me. I didn't know what to say, so I ordered lemon meringue and let him pay. He did ask, almost conspiratorially, not to tell my mother about the meeting, so, sorry, Reddit, but I guess we're officially running an espionage ring now. Moving chaos ramped up next. We had a full day of boxed-up confusion, half-finished sandwiches, and the discovery that we have 6 unopened Monopoly sets, but no tape, thank you, garage sale frenzy. In the midst of this, my neighbor, Mrs. Ramirez, whose general vibe is retired kindergarten teacher but with a phytoplankton obsession, shows up with a tray of empanadas and the words, "I see your mother left, and you look like you need carbs." It turns out, half the block has been observantly rooting for us from a respectful distance. Apparently, my mother's final dramatic suitcase carried to the curb was witnessed by at least 4 neighbors, 2 mail carriers, and the HOA president, who quietly left a sympathy plan on our porch labeled "You're doing great." Daughter promptly named it Petal McNo Drama. It might outlive us all. The real showstopper, though, was Saturday's goodbye barbecue, one final bash with friends and neighbors before the moving truck arrived. It is here that the Retirement Ranch Traveling Pet Show makes its entrance. Think a fleet of cheerful seniors in matching polos, clutching at least one leash each, parading an assortment of pygmy goats, bunnies, and a single disgruntled, costume-wearing chihuahua. Turns out, my daughter's bestie volunteers there and orchestrated the visit to give us goat blessings for luck. My hardened, purple-haired son fell in love with a goat named Cheddar Biscuit. Husband joked about registering Cheddar as an emotional support animal for college. Son considered this briefly, then just changed his Discord handle in the goat's honor. But the most quietly powerful moment, after the burgers and goat selfies, my daughter walked up, took my hand, and said, "You know, it's a lot more fun without people telling us what's wrong with us." She then challenged everyone over 12 to Mario Kart. She destroyed us. Later, she left a sticky note on husband's computer. "Weird families are the best families as long as you get to pick them." My heart squeezed. On this same day, a final letter arrives. No return address. Inside, a pressed violet, and a short note, no signature, just "You are loved, even if from far away. Eat something good, M." My therapist says it's progress that my first thought wasn't "What does she want now?" Maybe it isn't even from my mom, maybe it's from some well-meaning relative, or a poetic gas station clerk. All I know is, I took the kids out for midnight noodle bowls and we laughed until soup came out of my nose. It was healing, in its own chaotic way. One more twist, Emma. She's requested that our kids keep sending memes, and asks if we want to schedule a virtual Aunt Zoom party once we've settled in the new place. She and her partner sent a postcard, "Wish you were here. Or at least that your mother wasn't. We move in 4 days." As I'm packing, I find a picture from years back, me, pre-kids, grinning with a clown nose on a dare, cheeks painted with purple hearts. I remember that I used to love being ridiculous, before all the quiet judging, before I measured every move against someone else's expectations. I stick the photo on the fridge, right under daughter's sticky note. When my son asks what I'm doing, I say, making a new family tree. Less drama, more goats. We've got a new state waiting, 2 kids who think I'm fun to hang out with, a husband who's become an expert at blocking unwelcome mail, and a neighborhood rooting for us. One day, maybe next week, maybe next year, I'll be ready to revisit old wounds. For now, though, it's time to eat ice cream for breakfast and keep moving forward, one weird, glorious, purple-haired step at a time. Update 4. If you had asked me in May if I would ever experience the pure adrenaline rush of loading a plastic flamingo, 2 half-built IKEA bookshelves, and a cat in a harness named Captain Crunch into a car at 3 in the morning with the air thick from cicadas and the echoes of one impromptu block party, well, even my therapist would have said no. But let's rewind just a little, because the surreal continued to flower and bloom and, honestly, I am starting to think my life is some kind of low-budget dramedy being broadcast for the amusement of cosmic beings with a questionable sense of humor. Moving day started slightly before dawn. Husband woke up first. I'd fallen asleep atop 3 laundry baskets and daughter's oversized plushy sloth, and decided the only proper way to wake us up was with Queen blaring on our ancient Bluetooth speaker, some cross between a victory march and enough noise to chase away any lurking maternal spirits. Son was already awake, apparently in deep conversation on Discord with his new D&D roommate, plotting out dorm decor, top contender, apparently, string lights and an entire wall of vintage Polaroids. Of goats. I thought we might, finally, get away cleanly, no lingering drama, no more surprise treat yourself cash, no unexpected Bible verse invitations. Was I wrong? Look, reader, I almost started this section with a cackle. Just as the final box was being wrangled into the backseat, marked light bulbs, miscellaneous mementos, absolutely no more Monopoly sets, there's a knock at the door. For 2 minutes, an anxious silence. We debated ignoring it. But daughter, I swear she was a bouncer in a past life, peeked through the window, then turned and stage whispered, "It's the neighbors. And Aunt Linda. And is that Mrs. Ramirez with a plant?" It gets better. Apparently, the neighborhood grapevine operates at Olympic relay race speeds now. Word had gotten out about our move, and the details, of course, had been embroidered with Midwestern Gothic flair. By the time we opened the door, there was a full-on semicircle of neighbors, bearing muffins, goodbye cards, and, in the case of Mrs. Ramirez, proud foster parent to the world's oldest rubber tree. In the middle of the hubbub, with people popping in to sign son's congrats grad poster or offer up moving tips, don't forget to keep the toilet paper handy, I am blindsided by Aunt Linda's freshly baked conspiracy. Apparently, my mother had called her 2 nights prior in a state of such agitation that one of those at-home blood pressure cuffs had been deployed mid-rant. The rumor this time? Your daughter is running from the Lord. Linda sipped coffee as she said this, with a tone best described as absurdly resigned. Linda then pulled me aside, handed me a small envelope, and said, "I have a feeling you might want to see this. But only if you're feeling brave. Let me paint you a picture. I'm standing in the hallway, half-packed duffel over one shoulder, mismatched socks, daughter giggling with the neighbor's toddlers, Captain Crunch weaving between everyone's legs." I open the envelope. Inside are 2 things. 1, a miniature business card with Family Healing Ministry. Ask about our Olive Garden evenings. I have not yet stopped laughing. 2, a handwritten note from my mother. This time, it read, "I see you're determined. I may never understand. But the door will always be open, if you choose to walk through it the right way. Pray about it." I stood there, at once numb, annoyed, and, for the first time, almost relieved? The tone had shifted, a little less demand, a little more resigned. Maybe this is progress. Maybe it's as much as I'll ever get. But back to chaos, just when all the muffins were distributed and son was out front with the world's largest good luck balloon bouquet, EMTs a few streets over started setting up a block safety demo, and someone had unboxed a karaoke machine. Mr. Patel, best neighbor, best homemade chai, insisted on one final Mario Kart challenge. Winner gets the last double chocolate donut. Spoiler, I came in dead last. Daughter is relentless. Emma dialed in for a quick goodbye, "Don't die, make the most of your goat era FaceTime," her partner in the background, yelling advice about road snacks. Then my phone, which until now had been blessedly quiet, buzzed. A text from my dad, "Wishing you a smooth journey. Keep in touch, don't worry about your mom. I love you, and I'm proud of you. No drama, no hidden agenda." I almost cried. Instead, I sent a selfie of all of us packed in the car, daughter photobombing with jazz hands. We started the drive. Old playlists, fast food wrappers, cat meowing. New state, new house, new everything. The first night, son and daughter hosted a family council, code for let's order greasy noodles, gossip, and make up code names for the neighbors we haven't met yet. Mrs. Window Box. Sneaky Jogger. Suspiciously nice mailman. We all voted. This is home now. No ghosts. Naturally, day 2 in the new place brings an actual welcome wagon. That's a thing here, with literal jars of strawberry jam and a flyer announcing the annual Neighborhood Tallest Goat Invitational. If you think son and daughter didn't almost pass out laughing, you don't know us. Son's care package from Emma arrived, rainbow socks, a squishy goat toy, and a note reading, "Don't let them tell you what college kids wear. Be the reason they make new rules." Daughter's first TikTok in the new room features her holding Captain Crunch up like Simba in The Lion King and lip-syncing "We Are Family." I text Emma the link, and she replies, "Welcome, at last, to the village of weirdos who get it." Day 3, there's another letter from my mother. Different tone again, short, polite, distant. "Let us know you arrived safely." I suppose I will. For now, the only thing to do is to write back, maybe a postcard of a goat and a graduation cap, enjoy actual peace and quiet, and let life be strange and totally, perfectly, ours. Dinner tonight? Ice cream. Purple sprinkles. Mrs. Ramirez would approve.